Harvey Weinstein is said to reach $44 million deal to settle lawsuits. Harvey Weinstein and his former studio's board members have reached a tentative $44 million deal to resolve lawsuits filed by women who accused him of sexual misconduct and by the New York State Attorney General, according to 3 people briefed on the matter. The outcome of the settlement talks will be especially notable because the lawsuits are one of the main avenues by which Mr. Weinstein could be held responsible for his alleged actions. Why is that? Because when Bill Cosby did something, one of the main avenues to hold him responsible was jail. So why is this money the only thing that they're after? Okay, we're going to continue. He is facing criminal charges in New York for allegations of sexual violence against 2 women, but more than 80 women have accused him of wrongdoing, and many of those complaints involve sexual harassment, which is a civil violation, not a criminal one. So the details of settlement, such as whether it includes an admission of wrongdoing by Mr. Weinstein, would carry significant symbolism. Symbolism? The proposed sum is less than half of what was initially discussed, and he getting a 50% discount. Discussed as a victims fund as part of conversations last year between an investor group that was interested in buying the assets of Weinstein Company, so he still would have been making money, and Eric Schneiderman, who was the New York Attorney General that proposed the deal, which fell apart at the last minute, included a victims fund that was worth up to $90 million. Under the new proposed terms, the new deal, about $30 million will go to a pool of plaintiffs that include alleged victims and creditors of Mr. Weinstein's former studio and some former employees, according to the people briefed on the matter, who spoke on the condition of anonymity because the agreement is private. The balance would go to legal fees for associates of Mr. Weinstein, including board members named as defendants in the lawsuits. Insurance policies would cover the $44 million if the current agreement is finalized. So do you realize he's not even paying $44 million? This man is seeing no consequences whatsoever. Well, see, we're going to get to later on in the article. They say that he has a court date in September, but they talking like he's getting off, like they're going to pay this money and that's going to be it. See, that's that propaganda. They getting your head ready because they don't plan on continuing. And then why is the Attorney General in the civil lawsuits? Because they don't plan on going through with this charging him. Mr. Weinstein did not return calls for comment. A spokeswoman for the Office of the New York State Attorney General declined to comment. A lawyer for the plaintiffs did not immediately respond for a request for comment. The Wall Street Journal was the first to report the tentative deal. Lawyers for the women who say they were victims of Mr. Weinstein have been in mediation since last year with representatives for the former studio mogul. Also involved in the talks were lawyers for the former board members and the New York State Attorney General's office, which last year sued Mr. Weinstein and his brother for violating state and city laws barring gender discrimination, sexual harassment, sexual abuse, and coercion. The goal was to reach a settlement that would cover all of the suits pending against the former Hollywood mogul, now is defunct movie studio, and his associates. The Weinstein Company is seeking to liquidate in a recent bankruptcy filing. So again, not paying. The lawyers for the studio said the efforts to resolve legal claims by some of the women has stalled in recent months and put additional strain on its dwindling resources. A separate bankruptcy filing on May 15th described the mediation process as highly adversarial and said that at least on 11 separate occasions have been held over for over a year. Here's the thing. We have black men that have been on Rikers for years with no convictions. I don't. give a damn. Harvey Weinstein, 67, has pleaded not guilty to the criminal charges in New York. He was initially indicted in the state Supreme Court in Manhattan on sex crime charges involving 3 women, including one who said that Mr. Weinstein raped her, not gave her some Benadryl and sweet talked her drawers off. Raped her inside a hotel room at a DoubleTree in Midtown Manhattan in March 3rd, 2013. The woman has not been identified in court papers. He was also charged with forcing 2 other women to engage in oral sex with him. Lucia Evans, a marketing executive, said she was assaulted in his Tribeca office in 2004, and Mimi, I can't say her last name, but production assistant, said Mr. Weinstein assaulted her in his apartment in 2006. The judge, James Burke, dismissed the charge related to Ms. Evans after the Manhattan District Attorney acknowledged that the lead detective on the case, Nicholas, did not disclose information from a witness who said that Ms. Evans had provided a conflicting account of the alleged assault. But the detective, who has since been reassigned, has maintained that he did inform prosecutors. Mr. Weinstein has denied the allegations and said that the relationships were consensual. Earlier this year, Mr. Weinstein also replaced his longtime defense lawyer, Benjamin Brafman, with a new dream team of lawyers who have a history of representing celebrity clients. His criminal trial is expected to begin September 9th. Soon after Mr. Weinstein built his new defense team, one of his star lawyers, Ronald Sullivan Jr., a law professor and a faculty dean at an undergraduate house at Harvard University, came under fire by students there for representing the Hollywood producer. This month, Harvard decided to end Mr. Sullivan's term as dean on June 30th, following months of pressure from students. Later, Mr. Sullivan withdrew from Mr. Weinstein's defense team. You know, I just wanted us to be able to read this article because, the headline is a little deceiving, but they said that his new trial is September 9th, but I'm letting you know, like, just listen to the tone of that article. They getting you ready because they don't really plan on filing any charges. Why is the Attorney General in the meetings about the money, about the settlements? I don't know. I just find that to be very interesting. They're trying to focus as though this is the only way we could get justice. If we get this money that his insurance company is covering, that's the only way we could get justice. Bullshit! That wasn't the only way you could get justice from Bill Cosby. You took all his money and locked him up. Make sure you check out my Instagram stories. A lot of times when I don't feel the need to comment on a story, I do see the importance of it. So I will post links to other people's work in my stories so they can get their views and their likes, rather than me, just taking their stuff and reposting it on mine. By the way, you can get those Waze directions on Brooklyn.com. But So check my stories out. I also put personal pictures up there. Sometimes I put little voice notes to you guys up there about something that I saw. It's easier for me sometimes to post things in my story than it is to make a whole video, because you guys know that I like to be thorough and bring y'all all the information, all the receipts, and sometimes that takes time and I ain't got the time to be doing that. So I'll just post a little something about it in my stories and keep it moving. You know what I'm saying? So make sure you check out my Instagram stories for updates. Y'all know I always felt uncomfortable about accepting donations, but you can support me by buying a pair of earrings from my business, Brooklyn.com. Men, they make great gifts. Ladies, they're only $10. I also got lip gloss on there. And don't forget to check out my Waze directions.